Go. So, welcome to everyone. I am so excited to be here today. It's a special day for us because I'm going to be introducing my friend and colleague, Al, who is going to be talking about how to differentiate yourself in the workplace, right? In the marketplace. How do we make ourselves different and unique from everyone else who's applying for those same jobs? We have a couple of recruiters here also, which will be great. Love to get their feedback when we get to that portion of the time of the program. If we have not had the pleasure of meeting yet, my name is Mindy Stern. I am honored to host the Accelerator Career Group and have been doing that for over 6 years now. We started in 2020. If this is your first time at an Accelerator Group, if you could just put the number 1 into the chat so that we can welcome you properly, that would be amazing. Whoops, I have 34 new messages. Oh, I see a lot of ones. Steve and Mike and Carolina and Shayna and Mandy and Angel and Tom and Kevin and Cindy and Ashley. Welcome to our call. I host this monthly. Every single month we have a great guest. As a matter of fact, next month on May 5th, Jeff Young, who is called the LinkedIn Guru, is going to has volunteered to let you stump him. You bring the questions, he's going to provide the wisdom and the answers. And this is I think, his 3rd year that he's doing this. And so far, no one has stumped him yet. So it's going to be up to you guys to come up with a question that's going to stump him. Anything LinkedIn related, he's going to answer. And it's an absolute favorite of ours. And I try and give him the May spot every year. So we get used to him coming in May. So just mark your calendars for that. And there is a link already in the chat where you can actually register for that session right now so you don't lose your spot. It's definitely going to fill up for sure. If you have not yet put your LinkedIn URL into the chat, please do so. There's a lot of people in this room right now. We're at 60 right now. You don't know who's here, who might see your name, who might connect you with some job that you're looking for. So put your LinkedIn URL and the type of job you're looking for into the chat. That would be amazing. If you and I are not connected yet, please, I welcome you to connect with me. I am here to help job seekers. That's what I do on a daily basis. And so you're welcome to connect with me, and I would love to do that. Since 2020, we have had this beautiful and supportive community. And we started with 7 members, and now we're up to 750 members. So if you are not yet a member of the private LinkedIn group, which is called the Accelerator Career Group, just connect with me and say, yes, I want to join. And we'll be happy to do that. And I have helped so many people through that community with LinkedIn profile makeovers and job search strategies and interview prep, all to fast track your job search. So I am thrilled to be hosting you today. Anyone who's been on my calls knows that we encourage you to put the nuggets that you hear, and Alex Smith is going to give you tons of nuggets today. Put them in the chat. And what I do is I take those nuggets and then I convert them into a post for tomorrow. So tomorrow, look for my post. It's going to be all about the nuggets that you guys bring up, things that are important to you. So I know what else is important to other folks, and just put them into the chat. Just write nugget in the beginning and something that Al has said that you want to remember, or something you want people to know who maybe weren't able to join us live. And also the replay of this event will be in my chat, in the post tomorrow. What else? So without further ado, I want to introduce Al, because he has been a friend of mine for many years and a colleague. And as a matter of fact, he recently published his 3rd book. And I'm going to show that 3rd book, Hired. And we have a lot of collaborators. I was lucky enough to be a collaborator with Al on this book. And I see a lot of other people who were collaborators. I know Carrie was and Jeff was. If you were a collaborator on Al's book and you have the book available, just raise it up. So you are welcome to look at this book and say, oh, there's Kenneth Lang. He was there. Absolutely. A whole bunch of other people. And if you're looking for books to buy, as long as we're plugging books, this is mine. A lot of people don't know that I wrote a book. You are the CEO of your career. And I talk about this all the time. Nobody's going to care about your career. Oh, thanks, Kenneth. He's got my book too. Nobody's going to care about your career as much as you do. So if you like me sitting next to you at your desk while you're working this, you're welcome to grab this book. That's enough plugs for today. We're not going to do any more. So, yes, Sue said she was a collaborator in Al's book also. So, what we're going to talk about today is how to differentiate yourself, because make no do not doubt that you have a lot of competition for the jobs you want. And if you look the same as everyone else, and if you're using AI to create your resume, and you will definitely look the same as everyone else, you need to differentiate yourself. You need to be able to show how you're different and why someone should hire you. So I'm going to turn the mic over to Al, because that's what the topic is for today. And we are all excited, Al, to get more and more information about how to differentiate yourself and answer the question, why should I hire you?
Why should somebody hire you? Let me see if I can get
That's
this
the
started.
question, right?
Yeah. So why should I hire you? You need to be asking people, you need to be asking yourself this question, putting yourself in the shoes of a recruiter. And I'm glad there are recruiters on this call, because I'm going to ask you if I'm telling you the truth. All right. So I want you to differentiate yourself from your competition. Oh, you can tell this is for live. I'm not going to go through all this stuff, but suffice it to say that I'm doing this. I gave my great big six-figure salary as a VP of sales and marketing for pharmaceutical companies went away because I was in your shoes for over 2 years. 2 years I was unemployed, and that can really put you in a bad place when you have an ego like I have. Everything that I'm going to talk about is in my book. Obviously, there's tons more that's in that book, but we're not going to cover. What should you expect? We're going to talk about some cutting edge stuff, but we're also going to talk about some old school stuff. And I think there should be a combination of the two. If you have a sheet of paper, grab one, because you're going to want to play with that a little bit. You'll see some exercises you can do. How in the world do recruiters find people like you? They have what they would call a requisition. You call it your job title. So whether they're looking for people on LinkedIn or looking for people on job boards, they always start off with the job title. How many people in my area have my job title? Hundreds at minimum, thousands more likely. So now they have to parse this down. They do it by adding a series of keywords or long tail strings of keywords, trying to get to 20 to 25 people that qualify. So if you get a phone call, you qualify for the job. Well, they can't interview everybody, so they have to parse this down. So they want to get to 10 people, 8 to 10 people for the first round of face-to-face or virtual face-to-face interviews. The final interview is down to 3, maybe 5 at the outside, and then one person gets hired. It's as cold and heartless as it sounds. Why is that important? Because let's take, for example, somebody who is a project manager. I did this randomly for about a year or 2 years ago, I think it was, maybe. So I said, how many project managers in the world am I connected to? Anybody have a guess? Can you believe 12.5 million? I have a rather large network. But I live in the Atlanta area. How many in the Atlanta area am I connected to? So if I'm a recruiter, I'm looking for a project manager living in the metro area of Atlanta, and I add a series of keywords to parse this down. Imagine how you are. I want somebody who has a PMP certification, who's adept at Agile in technology. Oh, by the way, if you are in technology, take the term IT out of your profile and resume, replace it with technology. Spell my name. T follows I in a lot of words, so recruiters can't use IT to search for people. All right. So this person is a project manager in the metro Atlanta area, PMP certification, agile technology, they have experience with Scrum and continuous improvement. If you have all these qualities, you still have 515 people that you're competing against. So how do you stand out from the crowd? Ask the question. Put yourself in the shoes of a recruiter or a hiring manager. Why should I hire you? What's your brand? Everybody should have a brand. And I strongly suggest that you go to YouTube and look for this episode of Mad Men. Look for about 3 minutes of it. Lucky Strike was having trouble along with all the other cigarette manufacturers because they could no longer claim that that smoking cigarettes was good for you. So Don here asks the powers that be, how do you make your cigarettes? Well, we breed insect resistant tobacco seed, plant it in North Carolina sunshine, grow it, harvest it, dry it, toast it. Toasted! Lucky Strike is toasted. Well, everybody toasts their tobacco. No, everybody else's tobacco causes cancer. Lucky is toasted. So I want you to differentiate yourself from everybody else. Do you know these things? What's finger licking good? What's the ultimate driving machine? You're in good hands with the quicker picker upper is, and what melts in your mouth and not in your hands. These things set you apart from everybody else. I want you to be the missing piece of the corporate puzzle so that you're chosen and you fit in there nicely. So you have to figure out why your brand is better for them and express that in ways that other people don't. Okay, question. What's the very first impression that folks get when they go to your LinkedIn profile? It's probably your banner background. What does your banner say about you? Do you have the putty background that says nothing? Or have you chosen something that's not quite appropriate for the world's largest professional network? I hope the heck this guy sells kayaks or fishing equipment because I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to hire him for a technical job. What does this person do for a living? Immediately, you know he's cybersecurity. I haven't read a single word, and I know what he does. Now, every one of my books, all three of my books, have hired in the back in the title somewhere, and so people for years have said, "Hey, have you seen that hired guy?" So that became my brand. I want you to live your brand. I'm connected to 75,000 career coaches, 75,000, but only one is the hiring expert. I'm connected to 360 systems administrators, but only one solves problems. Make the claim for your brand because the world's greatest product is out there staring you in the face every morning, right there in the mirror. What do you do that you can claim that will differentiate you from everybody else? But you have to communicate it. How in the world can you communicate your brand? Well, let me give you some examples. Well, you could use it with a resume, but everybody has a resume. It's just another sheet of paper. You're just another sheet of paper in the queue. There are lots of different ways, lots of different methods to become every employment method that you want. You choose what works for you. I want you to stand out from the crowd. Question, are you using a QR code? Well, what the heck can go in a QR code? Well, you could put your resume. How about something else? Anybody using marketing materials? You have a marketing campaign. You are a product that needs to be marketed to the people out there. What are you doing to stand out? So take your one sheet of paper. This is a trifold brochure that you're looking at. You take your one sheet of paper, turn it landscape from portrait, create 3 columns, and then all of a sudden you have a 6 panel document that you can put anything you want in it. Hey, man, that's kind of old school. Well, maybe, but it could be cutting edge using AI to create your marketing brochure. So it can be a combination of the two. And throughout this, I hope you'll see where you can use AI for ideas and tweaking for perfection in air quotes. Some other things, if you are young coming out of college, you might not have a lot of background to put in your value proposition deck, as I like to call them. So you might create a rack card, which is a third of that sheet of paper. Nice card stock. You might want to use a bifold brochure. It's one sheet of paper, turn landscape, you have 2 columns, you have a 4 panel document. Oh, you want more? add a second sheet of paper, and you have an 8 page document. Put a staple in the middle. I think that everybody in the graphic arts, marketing, and at the executive level should have a portfolio. Put anything you want in there; it's going to stand out from the crowd. There's a guy down here in Atlanta named Jay Litton. He has a process he calls the WOW interview. The WOW interview is a value proposition deck in a binder, so you can pitch it that way. Have you ever asked to make a presentation during an interview? And if you're an older worker, if you ask if you can make a presentation on your tablet and not the one that Moses came down with the 15 10 commandments, sorry, movie, an old movie, then you're positioning yourself that you're keeping up with the times. You're not letting technology get past you. What about creating a video and putting it on YouTube? You can create a free YouTube channel, take that URL, stick it in your LinkedIn profile, and you'll have one frame from that video that you can ask people to click. And if you want an example of this, here's a trifold brochure. There are things in this marketing document that you would never put in a resume. Never put in a resume. Here's an example of a bifold brochure. This person had brain cancer and was out of work for 2 years. So we needed some kind of document marketing document to help overcome the gap in her background. Another example of the things that you might be able to put in or might choose to put in your value proposition deck, talking about the various levels. And I like using lots of logos, which is illegal, by the way. 2 words on this page, and it speaks volumes. Above the line are the countries that this person lived in and worked in. The flags below are countries that he worked in without living in them. So he got an international, global, C-level executive job. An arrow. What does an arrow say? Especially if it's pointing up. It means you're looking for increasing responsibility. And this is from a former client. Here are companies that he had been employed by, the jobs and promotions that he got in all these companies, the various industries. So his skills transferred from one industry to the next. When I showed this to him, he said he's a COO candidate, was a COO candidate. If he received this from somebody, he'd be impressed. Oh, by the way, you want to personalize it for the company that you're interviewing with? Bingo, one more. And you personalize it for them. And folks like to see their company, their name, their picture. So a lot of hiring managers are wondering, well, you've been in job transition. What have you been doing all that time? This person had taken 16 LinkedIn learning courses to hone his skills. He didn't sit on his keister doing nothing. If I say I'm better than sliced bread, nobody's going to listen to me. But if I have other people telling me that I'm better than sliced bread, that makes a mark. And you would never put this on a resume, but you can put it in a value proposition deck. So this question I want everybody to ask in the first round of face-to-face or virtual face-to-face interviews with a hiring manager. What do you want me to focus on in the first 30, 60, and 90 days after I get started? You want to write all those things down as quickly as possible, and then you can present it in a plan of action over the period of time and either use it as a leave behind or as part of your interview. You might be asking, does this stuff actually work? I had a client who was 70 years old. His background was mainframe computing. He hadn't had a job in a couple of years, but he wanted to do something. So I created a value proposition deck for him. He hadn't been on an interview in a long time. He needed practice. All of us need to practice. So I talked him into taking an interview with a company he did not want to work for. And so the person he interviewed said, this is the most professional document I've ever seen. Offered him a job. He turned it down. A couple of weeks later, he was offered a job with Anthem Blue Cross, working on mainframe computing, COBOL, Micro Focus COBOL. How do you use these things? Well, there are a whole bunch of different ways. You can upload it to your LinkedIn profile. You can use them for informational interviews, asking for input from the people that you want to speak with. What would you do to improve this? Some people like to use them in a first round of interviews. I personally do not. Some people think you can guide the interviewer. I'm not crazy about that. I definitely like to see them in a final interview. You can use it as a leave behind or use it as part of that interview. And you can even use a value proposition deck to earn a promotion. This is not just for getting a job. Here's a former client who either wanted to move up in his company. He managed the number one store, a Longhorn store, in the entire company, and he had been approved to be a regional manager 3 years earlier, but they didn't have a spot. So we put this together. Either he was going to push to get a promotion, or he was going to leave. He could use it either way. He got a promotion within the company. First year he was number two region. Second year he was the number one region. One thing you definitely want to avoid is death by PowerPoint. Nobody will read all this stuff. White space is important. Hey, Al, any more bright ideas? Well, how about creating a video, uploading it to YouTube like this is, and then putting it on your LinkedIn profile? Here's an example of how you can do things for on PowerPoint. Every Sunday since COVID at 4 p.m., I have a Zoom call with my mother in New Orleans, 96 years old, who still teaches mathematics in New Orleans, and a number of siblings and so forth. Her birthday, my mother's birthday, was on a Sunday one year, and I created a PowerPoint that I narrated and animated, which was a good thing because putting this thing together made me choke up and cry a couple of times. It's on my YouTube channel if you're interested. It's my mother grew up in the Dust Bowl. All right. So that's a way that you can do this. You can do this yourself. Anybody been to a convention or are a member of associations? What do you do here? Well, a lot of my background was in pharmaceuticals, specifically in dermatology. The American Academy of Dermatology's headquarters is in Chicago, Illinois. It just so happens that I have a sister who lives in Chicago, outside of Chicago, Illinois. So I created invitations inviting company presidents to meet with me. Excuse me, to uh, to reserve a spot speaking with me at the Summer Academy one year. Now the goal is to get to the. Oh, by the way, I had meetings with four company presidents and one senior vice president at a very poorly attended convention. So there we have that. This works. But how do you get to them? You want to get past the gatekeeper and into the hands of the company president or whatever the individual you're looking for. The gatekeeper is going to open the mail. My wife is named Terry. She is a secretary. And she's a busybody. She even calls herself Mrs. Kravitz, if you can remember Bewitched from a long time ago. So how do we get past her to the president? All right. Well, I created the invitation, and you have to play with it so it all comes out right. Then I used a calligraphy pen to write the person's name in the right spot. I took an envelope, took a broader calligraphy pen and wrote their name there, put one inside of the other, sealed it, put that inside of an envelope, addressed it to the person I wanted it to get to. Well, when it gets to the address, it's going to be opened by the administrative assistant. Then the admin is going to examine it to see what it's all about. It kind of looks like an invitation. Look up to the light. It looks like an invitation. It gets to the person's desk unopened in almost all cases. Another question. Oh, I forgot this one. Sending things directly to company presidents or people at least two levels above you can use a waterfall effect to get interviews from companies. How much does a FedEx envelope cost? Anybody? Anybody? It costs nothing. So I've had clients take a value proposition deck or other instruments, marketing instruments, put it in a FedEx envelope, seal it, address it, drive to someone's office, ask the, the folks at the desk, can you get this to so and so? My wife, Mrs. Busybody, never opens a FedEx envelope. It gets to the person's desk unopened in almost all cases. But Al, I don't mail anything. Only old farts mail things. That's exactly why I want you to go old school. I had a client who was a big box store manager. He was hoping to get a job as a manager at Walmart. Atlanta has a regional president's office in the metro area. He sent his information to the regional office, reached out, got the person's admin, told her what he was doing, asked if she had gotten it. She said, "Well, let me go check. The mail has just come." Gets back and within a matter of moments and says, "No, it hasn't gotten here, but I'll look for it on Monday." Oh, that was real quick. How many pieces of mail does the regional president of Walmart get in a given day? Was more or less the question. Oh, she gets 4 to 6 pieces of mail every day. How many pieces of electronically sent mail goes directly to your spam box? This is a screenshot of my spam box for less than a day, much less than a day. I don't even open these things. Anything else? Oh, I forgot to tell you that Al Smith is a super genius. And when you're as smart as me, you get to wear a really cool hat. Let me give you an example. And we talked about this earlier. I had a friend who lived across the cul-de-sac from me named David Kimmel. David Kimmel was an architect. And my background is being a sales executive. So when I was in job transition, I didn't tell David that I was in job transition. Well, David was actually the architect and became the president of a little building in downtown Atlanta called the Georgia Aquarium, the largest aquarium in the world. I didn't think about this. So we were invited, my wife and I were invited to their 36th wedding anniversary. David and his wife had moved away, but they invited us to their 36th wedding anniversary, and which was Wolfgang Puck was the caterer. And I looked around the table. I hadn't told David I was in job transition. There were 16 tables filled with the most important business people throughout the Atlanta area. I could have reached out to my friend David to introduce me to any of these people, and he probably would have done it. What are you doing? I think everybody needs to be reaching out to all your contacts. Network with your financial advisor. Isn't it in their best interest that you have a job so that you can continue investing through that person and they make commission? Well, what about your insurance agent? Again, it's in their best interest that you're employed. What about the person who cuts your hair? Think of all the people that they're in contact with. I think you should be networking with everybody. If somebody's within 3 feet of you, they need to know that you're in job transition. Let them know so that they can possibly help you. I also want you to use your network to get referrals into target companies. Why? Well, the referral programs, 84% of companies use some kind of referral program because it's a lot less costly for them to hire somebody through a referral. The statistics say that they perform better and they last longer. Salesforce, for instance, is the number one company. If you want a job with Salesforce, by God, you better find somebody to refer you because almost half the people that are hired through their referral program. Oh, by the way, this is good for the employee too because they earn a two grand bonus and they stay longer and are a better fit, the greater ROI. Here's some other companies that do this. Apollo Technical, 4 times. I'll put this all up at once. They stay longer, they tend to be better, and so forth. You want to take a screenshot of this, folks, because these are target companies if you're interested in finding a job through a referral. Now, there are some negatives to referral programs. As you can imagine, there are all kinds of isms. None of them make a damn bit of sense. They mostly benefit, largely benefit white men. Women of color fare the worst through the referral programs as they stand now. Men of color are less likely, as are Caucasian women. Okay, let's move on to networking events and business to business events. Are you like me? I mean, I would go to these things, I'd get people's business cards, and as soon as I would get home, I would open the top drawer here, toss all my business cards in that top drawer, never to be seen again. I told you I was a genius. How could I have followed up? How could I have done better from the time I was investing in networking meetings? Well, I would tell people that I was a sales executive. What they would hear is that I was a salesperson. Well, what if I had followed up with a marketing plan or an open to work document that tells people more about what I do, reminds them what I am? It shows that I follow up as opposed to doing nothing. Any one of these things can be done, and you can create all this with AI. All this stuff you can get into, start up with, and then work on from AI if you want to. Interview follow up. How do we follow up after an interview? Generally speaking, I would like for everybody to send a thank you note by email if possible, somewhere between 5 and 6 p.m. on the day of your interview. Why? Well, it's sent to somebody, maybe it's on their phone. They see that you're working after hours, but not crazy after hours. If it shows up in their mailbox the next day, it also has that same timestamp on it. I would also like for people to send a USPS thank you note. It's a second bite at the apple. If you can get their address, follow up. Why? Because nobody else does this. All right, so you've waited the 2 weeks and you're supposed to reach out, and what happens? What do you do next after that? Well, I would suggest setting up Google Alerts. I want you to do this for a whole lot of things, but set up some Google Alerts. You can create your Google Alert. This particular one is on cybersecurity, but you create the topic that you want information, articles to come to you, information to come to you, so you're not always looking for it. Create your alert, and there it goes into your inbox. And now we look for topics that you might find or other people might find of interest. Click on it, grab review the article, and then capture the URL. You might want to send a follow-up email to one of the people that you interviewed with. Very simply state, found this article, thought of you. Hey, Joe, hope this finds you well. You say what the article's about. You include the URL, but don't ask about the job. Stay foremost in their mind. And lots of times you're thought of not as an irritant, but you're thought of as a resource. So they're thinking about you. What else can we do with this URL? Well, how about if we create posts in your activity broadcast on LinkedIn? It also in your groups. Create posts, comment on other people's posts also. So you can put it in your activity broadcast, which is on your homepage of LinkedIn. I want you to be active in 4 industry groups. 4. Why? Well, you can't be active in 50, but let's choose 4 industry groups. This is important because when recruiters have a difficult time finding the right candidate, lots of times they will become a member of an industry group, seek out the people who are the most active, believing that those are thought leaders. And LinkedIn tells us you can increase your viewership by as much as 1,300%. You're a thought leader. And if you're doing this even once a week, you can increase your viewership by as much as 400%. You want to be active. When I'm active on LinkedIn, I get a lot of profile views. When I get lazy on LinkedIn, I get a lot fewer profile views. Hint, 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 hint. Donna Savi also tells us that we need to follow target companies. So she's stated a bunch of spotlights. Show you're interested. Follow the companies that you are targeting. Show that you're open to work. use the open to work banner. And then as soon as you get a job, change that to recruiters only, because I think everybody should be at least in passive job search mode all the time. I never thought those words would come out of my mouth. What else can we do? Show that you're actively updating your profile, that you're sharing your resume, that and so forth, and then reach out and become connected with people at those companies. The skills section has increased from 50 to 100 stated skills. Use the keywords that you think recruiters would use to find somebody like you, and ask somebody to click on it so it shows up. As a matter of fact, everybody in here, you could say, could you uh, click on one or two of my skills, and you'll return the favor. Granted, it's still a small part of the LinkedIn algorithm, but it does have weight, and it appears that there had been increasing weight to this when they increased the number from 50 to 100. So add your skills and use all those skills, but you need to state where it applies. So if you go to your skills section, click on one of the pencils. In this case, I have executive development clicked. It'll take me to a page like this, and I can say where I used executive development throughout my career. Well, I didn't use it here, so at least I'm honest, and it shows up throughout your profile. You click save and go on. All right, so let's talk about AI. Half the people I talk to say it's the death of civilization. The other half is, oh, it's nirvana, man. I think AI should be used for a lot of things, and here are some specifics. It's great for self-assessment to identify skills gaps. Find the skills that you called it this, they called it that, or that they're transferable, and show that they're transferable from your old positions to the new one. And it also is really good. Some of the parts are really good about showing alternatives from what you did. There's some really cool matching tools out there. I'm going to put all these up at once. Whoops, all these up at once so you can do it, go through them. Arctic Auto Job, Career.io, Sonar. So you can play with some of these, for free, to find out what jobs are good for you. And focus not on what you did, but what you can do to help the company that you're looking to be a part of. Show that you can use these AI tools. You don't have to be expert, but just make sure that you're showing clearly, especially as you were growing older, that you're not an old fart, that you're not against AI, that you're working with it. And you can do some playing to demonstrate these things. I think everybody should have a demonstration tool. So you might want to show how you've increased or how you could increase process improvement. Show some sales target, depending on what you're in. And if you can show how you understand and appreciate and stick to data governance, that puts you on another higher level. AI is great for the creation of, or at least ideas for, star stories. This particular one is AI generated. What is a star story? The situation that was going on at the time, the tactics or tasks that you could have used, you thought of using, the action that you chose, and the results from that action. And then last month, during the Accelerator meeting, my friend Carrie Bryson said, show a tie-in. So instead of star, this might be start stories. So here's an example. The question from the employer, can you give me an example of a change you made that positively affected your company? Well, there was a corporate-wide efficiency push. My group got together to come up with an idea for either providing each employee with a separate set of tools or moving the tool cabinets out of their present cages in the back of the shop. We concluded that all those separate tools was the most efficient, it was too costly an option, and moving into pods within a couple of steps were the use of the best option. The net result was a dramatic increase in efficiency, blah, 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 blah. And based on the challenge you mentioned earlier, do you think we might be able to adapt my experience to further improve the efficiencies you've already instituted as the tieback? Can you use this stuff? There are also resume builders with caveats. I'm going to put all these up here pretty quickly. There are positives about them. Unfortunately, a lot of templates cannot get through applicant tracking systems, or some of the ATSs either stop reading or skip over information. Some of them are pretty good, but they can be expensive and difficult to get out of, to cancel. So I'm going to put the rest of this up, and you can use them to help you for ideas. A lot of people aren't good, don't feel that they're good writers, but I would use a resume builder for ideas and then personalize what you have, because they can be very robotic, and there are tattletales that remain that show that you've copied and pasted. You don't want to do that. They also can't network for you. And my friend June Birchfield, a recruiter, says they'll make you the president of the United States if you're not careful. So make sure that you've reviewed what they have written, what AI has written, and correct it and humanize it. Because I don't want you to have the great be the enemy of the good, because your number one enemy is time. It's time. So here's a prompt that I used for this particular job search. And I went to a couple of different places. The first one was ChatGPT. I used this as the prompt, and then it said specifically, don't cut and paste them in a word cloud. Use it as natural content. Use it as natural content. Now, you might be asking, well, why did I ask for 75 words? Because you can't use all 75 in bulk in your documents. Who knows what you do better than you? Certainly not a computer. So I want you to use your brain to try to figure out what are the most important terms that you think a recruiter would use to find somebody like you or separate you from the rest of the crowd. And I want you to use multiple platforms, because they give different information. I did the same prompt for 3 different platforms: ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude. And I went through this looking for keywords just kind of casually, and I found one that I thought was important. Well, Claude said cybersecurity was important. Gemini said cybersecurity compliance was important, all from the same job description. Now, I went to ChatGPT, and they didn't think cybersecurity was important at all. So you need to figure out which of these is best for whatever you're doing at the time. Again, asking what 20 to 25 words might a recruiter use to find somebody like me and differentiate me from other people. And then I want you to keyword load. I love having a section that I call core competencies, and I create it by tabbing, not by using a feature that sets this apart. The tabbing, the columns won't be perfect, but at least it gets through the ATSs. And I am not a big believer in drastically changing your resume, with a caveat. You need to have the above your summary section, which you do not use summary because that's never a keyword. You replace it with the job title that matches to the job title in the job description. And you may want to change a couple of the core competencies to help you get more weight in there, whatever the algorithm is. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good, because time is your biggest enemy. Why do I say that? And I hope the recruiters chime in on this too. A recruiter friend of mine named Jay, I'm sorry. Here's what recruiters have to say about using AI, as using it verbatim. A lot of recruiters, candidates, they say it's a red flag. It's great to use for proofreading and support of drafting something, but they don't want it as the finished product. 80%, and this number I believe is getting higher, automatically reject AI generated resumes, even if they suspect that you've used just AI generated material. 57% will dismiss you. Almost all companies are actively looking for AI generated content, and they reject because it just lacks the personalization. I want you to use AI to differentiate yourself, to help you create a personal brand, create marketing materials, the banner background if you use Canva, a value proposition deck, check for informational interviews, set up networking event follow-up with an open to work document or a marketing plan. Prepare you for your face-to-face and your phone interviews using AI questions. Use a plan of action for your there because your past performances are predictors of what you're going to do in the future. So this needs to be forward-looking based on what you've done in the past. Yeah, that was me. I'm from New Orleans. And down in New Orleans, we have something that we call lagniappe. It means a little something extra. So here we go. Here we go. Who do recruiters, I hope I have a little bit of time to do this. Who do recruiters find when they search for you? And can you differentiate if you're not found? So I'm going to get out of this in just a second. And I'm going to do a couple of searches if we have some time, Mindy.
Al,
Yes.
I want to give some time for folks who may have
Yeah,
questions. Are you
will
okay
do.
with that?
Yes, absolutely.
Because we're at like 9 minutes too, and I
I
don't
was
want to.
afraid of that.
Yeah. So you've been talking really fast and so much information.
I was using my New York voice instead of my New Orleans voice.
Well, thank you. In my honor, I appreciate it. Um, yes, if you have questions, just raise your hand so we can see you. And I have a little raise hand thing. Just put your hand up so I can get you really quickly. Here we go. Here's one. Marlene Seiden, do you want to speak or do you want me to read it for you?
Oh, sure. Thank you.
Okay.
I I just had a request for a thought leadership dossier. Can you provide any insight on that?
Yeah, think about it. The thought leadership dossier would be like a value proposition deck
Oh,
or a portfolio. They're just calling it something else. So we're going to translate one to the other. I would like for you, at least for the cover, to personalize it with the company's logo. Somewhere use the colors of the company, certainly, and maybe personalize it again with the person's name or the people, one for each of the people you're interviewing with, their name and their exact job title. People love seeing their own name in their company.
Hey,
thank
Marlene, you and Al are both from Atlanta, just so you know. You may bump
I
into each other
know.
at Target or something.
Come
Isn't
see me
that
at
great?
Roswell United Methodist, or this coming Monday at 10:30. I'm going to be at Unity North Atlanta Church in Marietta, or
Wow. I'm
using
in
it.
Roswell, Al.
And
There you go.
yesterday I did 3 workshops at Roswell United Methodist. I call it Marathon Monday. As a matter of fact, I had 52 people in my workshops.
Okay, Marlene. Cindy, do you have a question for Al?
Yeah. Do you think so sending a handwritten letter to somebody, they're not, put it back about that, because they might feel like that's a little intrusive these days?
Uh, People open their mail. How much mail
True.
do you get? And besides, if somebody is gonna say no to you because you sent them something personal, do you want to work for them?
True. Good point.
My wife, God bless her, she must have eye allergies. Terrible eye allergies, because invariably when I say something that she objects to, she starts scratching her eye. And I'm number one a lot, and sometimes I'm number 11. Humor intended.
Yeah.
All right. Cindy, thank you. Thank you for your question. It's great to
Sure.
be today. Lance has a question. And Lance is one of the recruiters that I mentioned. I think also Mike Smith is here and he's a recruiter. Lance, your
Yeah,
thoughts,
thanks.
sir?
Thanks, Mindy. Al, question for you.
Yeah.
There's a, I mean, careful. I don't want to be too crass, but in corporate America, they target sort of the 25 to 40, 45-year-old worker as an example, right? And I'm just always wrestling with those folks that are, 50, 55, they've been laid off. How do they get back in? Can they get back in? Or is it more like, hey, that phase of your career is probably sunsetted and you need to look on things that to do like a second career starting, and what's that pivot look like? And let's get real about that, realizing that trying to chip back in might not happen. You might still have some options. Anyways, I'm curious about your thoughts around that. Thank you.
Yeah, I've actually done a overcoming ageism workshop for 15 years. That's evolved over the years, but yeah, I believe that people can that we can use our age and our experience to our advantage
Mhm.
if we know to pull out those things and use that as a pivot. On the other side, a lot of clients have gone from what they did, gone through some certification courses, and they've pivoted like 180 degrees,
Yep.
but they don't have the experience. And so one of the things I have done is take a syllabus, pull the keywords out of the syllabus and the technology out, and create those as your core competencies. You're
Mm.
not going to be expert in it. You might have to be entry level in some of these jobs if you're making a pivot like that. But if it's something you want to do, you need to position yourself so that you're thought of as the person. And by the way, you and Mike North, recruiters, what I said accurate about?
Absolutely, Al. It was great info. I love the virtual deck because it creates that marketing of yourself. I tell everyone you're in a marketing and sales job now for yourself, whether you like it or not.
Yeah,
So throwing your resume into, 500 applications, imagine a field full of sheep, and you're going bah, bah, like it all looks like wool to me, right? You know what I mean? So how are you going to spray paint your wool bright red, and start throwing off sparklers and firecrackers and like, you know what I mean? You need to be able to create some attention in a professional way. I love the virtual deck. I love the QR code because and again, if you're 45, 55, 65 trying to get back in, there's a 28-year-old person looking at your resume and
you,
they have a phone and they will hit that QR code, right?
and,
So, your first gatekeeper is that millennial or Gen Z, XY, somebody below
yeah.
you, and they're all savvy with these tools and they use them more than anything else. So, think of your target market. Anyways, long story, 5,000 words or less. Yes, this was good. Yeah, keep it rolling. I think there's more stuff we could do, but this is great. This is very good.
And plant those
I
seeds.
just want
Plant the
I want to
seeds.
add something to what you guys are talking about. Everyone needs to take a look at your LinkedIn profile and stop thinking of it as a history lesson and talk about what you've done and start thinking about it as a positioning document. What you can do for someone else is a huge difference. If your profile is stuck in the past and you're not helping people understand what you can do for them in the future, you're missing the boat. So
Mindy,
yes.
sorry to cut you off. Can I add to that? I tell everyone it's a landing page. It's not everyone uses LinkedIn like a resume. Stop that. It's a destination now because of all the value that's added to LinkedIn. So it really has to be like a mini website, really. And there's so many tools that you can really puff it up now. You can really do all sorts of things with it. But to support exactly what you're saying, like you come across them, I come across them all the time, and you look at them and you go, this is dry black and white. This is crazy. You have this option to do so many things and add some razzle dazzle on there. You get to it.
It's like Kevin Turner always says, don't be bland, be grand, right, Kevin?
Yep.
Can I chime in real quick? Two really great points.
Yes, Mike.
It's a digital world, but going analog is okay to differentiate yourself. I can't speak this morning. And something really important is if you're doing that, grab your resume, whatever kind of material you have, pop it in that FedEx folder. What a great idea to differentiate yourself and show up in front of somebody's on somebody's desk. They don't see that anymore. It's a big way to get out in front. And another great way, I'm sure Lance will agree to this, most people post or put their job, apply, and then wait for a response and complain why they're not getting a response. The challenge isn't that your resume isn't good enough. It's that you're not matching a keyword or you're not resonating with that 20 or 30-year-old recruiter. And a way to get around that is to make sure you get right to the decision maker. This is not easy, but it's a very big differentiator. Pick up the damn phone. Look online, find out who the key decision maker is. It's easy to get a phone number these days using Google. Don't worry about any kind of fancy tools. Put their name in, their title, their company. It'll show up first or second page more than likely. And there's other techniques you could use. Ask Mindy or ask Al later. But if you pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, it's so and so. I sent you this resume. Want to have a quick chat about it? Just differentiate yourself. Trust me on that. The other thing is, if you guys have a smartphone and you want to actually find your QR code, if you don't understand it, on the smartphone, you can get your QR code for LinkedIn easily. You can't get it on the desktop. If you open it up and you go and you press in that search bar, and on the little right side, you'll see your QR code, and you can cut and paste or or do a little save on the phone, and that is your QR code to send that to everybody. Put it on your LinkedIn profile. Quick trick, right? You can, if anyone didn't say that, little stuff.
Yeah.
Analog, a little digital mixed in, shows you you're not an ancient relic. You are relevant and you are loved. They just gotta find you.
And
Love it.
don't be
Love it.
afraid.
Hey, guys, if you're getting value from this meeting, from Al, from Mike, from Lance, just write value in the chat, please. So we know that you're getting value from today. We're going a little long. If you'd like to stay, I have 2 more questions I'd like to ask Al. Are you okay with that, Al?
Sure.
Okay.
We can go as long as you want.
Okay. I think Susan was before Luzette, I believe, when I see those hands raised. So Susan, do you want to ask Al a question?
Hi, yes, it's more about will you be sharing the presentation deck that you're using today?
Well,
That's up to Al.
Mindy has recorded this. I can't share the deck because that it has information from other people and clients, so I can't share that. And the thing is so damn big, it wouldn't go on an email.
So the recording will be in my post tomorrow. I always post at 8 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm going to grab all these nuggets and then we're going to post tomorrow. And I will also include the link for the recording so you can watch it as many times as you like. It'll be on YouTube. Okay. Luzette, you're next.
Hi, Al. Everything you said has been great. Question for you. I have over 30 years of experience. How far back should I be going on my resume, and what's the ideal number of pages your resume should have?
The rule of thumb, it's only a rule of thumb, okay? A resume should be 2 pages. You go back, say, 15 years, 10, 15 years. You might have one thing below that in resumes I do for older, more mature workers, additional professional experience, and I create 2 or 3 columns. One is the company name. The other column is one accomplishment you had at that company, and that's it. Not dates or anything else, just that you've noted this. In the application itself, you're going to have to put more information, including the dates, but let's get past that first. And if somebody doesn't want to hire you because you're experienced, they're number 1 too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, one thing I want to add real quickly is, do you know where AI platforms get their information? To me was fascinating that ChatGPT gets over 50% of its information from Wikipedia and Reddit. Gulp. Perplexity, which I find to be a real easy platform to use, they get over 50% of its information from YouTube and Reddit. Gemini is Google, so it's more balanced, but it gets Quora, LinkedIn, Reddit, and something else that I don't remember. So play with them. Find what works best for you. For what I do for a living, a meager living, I find Claude is best. There's one platform that I refuse to use because I hate the SOB who created it. So, and I won't say the person's name.
We'll leave that for private conversation. But now I have to know. So anyway, thank you so much for being here with us today. Don't forget to sign up for Jeff Young on May 5th. Lori, if you could put that link in here again, so people who forgot to register, who didn't register yet, they can register for today. That would be excellent. Thank you so much for going to my YouTube channel tomorrow after we post the replay. And I hope to see you again really soon. Thank you so much, Al, for all you do and for all you do every day for job seekers. Thank you to everyone who's here and to all of my supportive people who I love seeing you so much. Kevin and Carrie and Sue and Jeff and Al, you're just fabulous. Thank you so much for being here and for supporting our job seekers. If you need any help, you know where to go. There's plenty of people you should be following. And
all the stuff's in my book too.
Oh, and the stuff's in his book. Forgot about that.
Great job, Al.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you, everyone, so much. You have a wonderful day. Have a brilliant day, everyone.
You too. Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.